is what you're made of. You are perfect and pure, even if you're not sure. It's what you're made of. L-O-V-E, love.
Well, I'm glad that Wes mentioned Myrtle Fillmore, because she was considered the heart of unity. And today's message is focused around the heart of healing. The unity movement began with the healing experience of Myrtle. Both Myrtle and Charles Fillmore had healing experiences. It began to take hold and expand as a movement through the use of affirmative prayer, the focus of mental energy and emotional energy to bring about the healing, not only of themselves, but for others. And at the heart of this type of healing is the fundamental experience of oneness with the divine, the Christ light within us all. That's the real healing. So even if it took 3 weeks, the reminder is that you still have a deeper healing experience occurring within you. And that's the remembrance that you are divine. The remembrance that there is something within you that never fails. There is something within you that always works. There is something within you that is whole and perfect. In that scripture, I don't particularly like that version of the Bible, because it says, Jesus asked the man, "Do you want to be made well?" The actual, if you translate it from the Aramaic, the actual quote is, "Would thou be made whole?" Do you want to be whole? Do you want to remember your wholeness? Do you want to remember who you are? That's the true healing. That's the heart of healing, is remembering who we are. And the guy was, this is a great story because it's at the pool of Bethesda. And the guy was saying all kinds of stories. Well, I can't walk, and every time I try to get down to the water, everybody rushes in before me. You know that story? There's a pool in Bethesda, and it was said to be a pool of healing waters. And everybody would go there. When they got in the water, they would experience physical healings. And he was complaining to Jesus about, well, everybody gets in before me and I can't get in, and I can't be healed because I can't get in the water. He says, I didn't ask you any of that. Did I ask you about your story, about your condition, about your situation? No. I said, do you want in your own heart and mind to be made whole? And in that moment, he got it. It was a decision that he was making about what he really, truly wanted. What do you truly want in your heart? I'm going to tell you something very important. It is already so. It is already done. You're not the one bringing about the healing. Oh, holy mackerel, you're already healed and whole and perfect. All you're doing is making the decision to step into reality, to step into what is. And yes, sometimes the body will respond when you step into what is with a hallelujah. I am healed and whole physically. And sometimes it won't, because when you're stepping into reality, it's with your mind. And you're remembering who you are. And so it might take time for you to process all that, because you've spent a lot of time and a lot of energy, a lot of mental energy, proving to yourself that you're limited, that you're a body, that you're sick, that you're old, that you're blah, 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 blah. Sorry. You've been telling yourself this, right? You've been teaching yourself that you're separate, that you're weak, that you're not powerful, that you're stuck in time, that you're stuck with these ideas. None of it's true. Your mind is fluid and able to expand and able to take on new information. And that's the heart of healing, is that we are not stagnant, that we are one with this flowing universe. We're in harmony with all that is. And all that is flowing. It's in constant movement. So let yourself flow. Let it move. Just allow yourself a little time for healing. Allow yourself that time. I love it when people say, oh, I was in bed sick. I go, good for you. Wow! Someday I'm going to decide to take a 3-week rest. Oh, it's called a vacation. Sometimes we have to rest from our vacations. We didn't actually rest. But that's all that is taking a moment to allow the universe to flow in you. And so you come back into a harmony with all that is. And that's what we do in all of our healing techniques, is to bring ourselves back into harmony. Release the blockages. All that's blocking the flow. Alan knows this well as an acupuncturist. He's opening up the gates to the flow of energy in the body. So let's open up the gates to the flow of energy in our mind and our hearts and start flowing and resonating and vibrating with the eternal, with the divine within us. You're never going to feel better in your whole life. Your body will respond, absolutely. But that's not the question. The question was, will thou be made whole? Do you want to be whole? Do you want to remember who you are as one with the universe? Well, I got off on a little rant about healing there, didn't I? But the reason unity appeals to me so much is that Myrtle had this experience. I want to read a little bit about her process. What happened with Myrtle is she began, and I'll say it in her own words. She said, "I once was an emaciated little woman upon whom relatives and doctors had placed the stamp of TB, tuberculosis. And this was only one of the ailments. There were others considered beyond help, except possibly the changing of structures through operation. And there were family problems too. We were a sickly lot and came to a place where we were unable to provide for our children. In the midst of all this gloom, we kept looking for a way out. We felt sure it would be revealed to us. And it was. The light of God revealed it to us. The thought came first that life was of God and that we were inseparable and one with the source, and that we inherited all from the divine and perfect Father, or source of all being." Now, Myrtle developed this form of prayer that includes denials and affirmations. And the first denial that she heard was from a guy called E.B. Weeks. And that's further down in my talk than I thought. But I want to get back to the core principle of unity. I'll get back to E.B. Weeks because this is such a beautiful slide. The second principle, a core principle of unity, is the Christ light. The divine spark resides in each one of us. So her revelation that life is of God included that it's in everyone. That the divine spark, the Christ light, is in everyone. So what she heard, the first thing she heard, was from a guy named E.B. Weeks. She went to one of his talks. Early metaphysician, New Thought metaphysician, said, "I'm a child of God, and as such, I do not inherit sickness." Now, she had, quote unquote, inherited sickness. Their family genealogy, they were a sickly lot, she said. But all of a sudden in her mind, she said, if life is of God, then I don't inherit sickness. I'm a child of God. I decide. But the healing didn't take place right away, not even in 3 weeks. It took a couple of years. And she was healed completely from tuberculosis. Because she said in her mind, I'm a child of God, I don't inherit sickness. And life is of God. What I did inherit was the divine spark. the Christ within us. That's what I inherited. That's what I am. And that began the movement of unity. That's the heart of healing, and it's the heart of our movement. That's why Myrtle's called the heart of unity. But that was just the first part of the mind training. The negation part. I don't inherit sickness. I don't want it. It's not part of me. She took that phrase and used it, but she used it to negate the power of sickness and separation. Not the fact that she experienced it. She said, my whole family was a sickly lot. This is how we experienced life up until this moment where I decided I had enough. There had to be a way out. And there was. The light of God revealed it to them. Amazing. The light of God revealed it to them. Not my own limited thinking, but the light of God. The light, the experience of light in us reveals it to us. And so, this is what she just said. Life is of God. Look at this slide for a moment. Look at where we are in the universe. We're standing on this planet in the middle of this gigantic universe filled with billions of galaxies and billions of life forms and all kinds of different energies. That is our life. That is God. We are inseparably one with this source. And we inherited all of it from the divine and perfect Father or source of all that is. That's why we often call God universe. It's the universe. It's all of it. She started having an experience that we were one with all of it. That healing had already taken place. Isn't that amazing? So healing, it is at the heart of our movement. And it's the practice of these truth principles for ourselves. And then learning to extend these ideas that keeps the movement going. The movement is you practicing the principles in your own life. That's all it is. It's not me teaching you a doctrine that you therefore can repeat to others and say how right you are and how wrong they are. That's not how it works. How it works is, I want to become whole. I want to be made whole, or I want to remember who I am. And in me remembering who I am, I give you permission to remember who you are. And you start to think, ooh, this feels good. This feels a lot better than what I was doing before. And so this is what began with the Fillmores. And this is what has continued in our congregation and in our movement throughout the world. It's a movement of healing. It's a movement of healing through remembering who we are. So rather than worshiping some outside force, something outside of us, we endeavor to learn spiritual principles. We learn from our spiritual masters how to activate and demonstrate the force that's inside of us. We were having a conversation in my office just a few moments ago before the service about the evolution of thought, of new thought. That the whole shift in consciousness is that God is not outside of us. That whatever it is that's flowing through the universe, the life force of the universe, that's what we are. We no longer have to pray and beg for favors. We employ affirmative prayer to make it manifest in our life through the power of our mind, in recognition of the light or the Christ in us. That's the way out. It was revealed to Myrtle through her practice of affirming the light within her, affirming the divinity of her own being. Wow, incredible. We can do the same thing. And in fact, it's a lot more fun than claiming, I need this and I need that, and oh God, won't you please bless me? It's a lot more fun than claiming how miserable and poor you are and how much you need help from this source outside of you. When you tap into, it's already done, I'm already whole and perfect, and I'm going to endeavor to practice this in my own life. Wow. I would say the sky's the limit, but there is no limit. Your mind expands and your heart expands and it never stops. And it includes more and more and more people in your life. And I've experienced a lot of those folks having miraculous healing experiences because they're remembering who they are. Not because I'm saying, oh, you poor thing, you're sick and I need to heal you. Or you need healing in your body, oh, you poor thing. No. It's like, I remember that we are from the source, that you are from the source. You are whole, you are perfect, and you are free. And that's what I see in you. I like Wayne Dyer too. Be careful what you tell yourself. I like that. I like that. But he also said, when you meet someone, see the light in them and treat them as if that's all you see. Look for the light in others and treat them as if that's all you see. All you see is their light. When the judgment comes up, look for the light. That judgment will pass. That judgment really is a judgment on yourself that you're projecting on that other person. But I'm not going there today. When the judgments come up, see the light. Look for the light. Yeah, good. Because I really believe that's our only problem, is that we've placed the source of healing somewhere outside of us. And when we do this, God becomes somewhat capricious and judgmental, bestows good on one and withholds good from another. So if you're not praying right, if you don't have enough faith, you don't get healed? What kind of God is that? No, healing's already done. You are healed and whole in the mind of God. And when you're able to step past what you view as your reality into eternal reality, then you experience it. That's all. When you drop your thought system of separation and start affirming the thought system of wholeness, you're healed. You're whole, because you're already whole and healed. You just didn't know it. You were projecting. The power of your mind projected a separate self-identity. And you believed it to be real. And you acted as if that was who you are. And now you know that you are one with God. And that light is within you. So please listen, my friends. There is a way out of all of this. The view that God is outside of you and the capricious and judgmental God and heaven and hell and all of that stuff. The division in the world. There's a way out. And it's just like Myrtle said. The way out is the light of God in us, revealing to us our way out individually and collectively as the human species. The light of God in us is the heart of healing. And much like the spiritual manner in which we are healed individually, we will and we are experiencing a healing of the human consciousness as a whole. Amen. Right, John? Yes. We are in the middle of the big shift in human consciousness. Now, it may seem like it's taking a long time. I've had this for 3 weeks. Well, the human beings have had separation ideas for 40,000 years. We're finally waking up. That's mine. I've been doing this for 40,000 years. Finally, I'm feeling better. Because I'm recognizing I'm whole and free right now. I don't have to do this anymore. I truly believe this, my friends. The light of God is revealing it to us now. This is the way out. The light of God in us. The only thing we're asked to do is open our hearts and open our minds to the love that makes it possible. And I can say, without a shadow of doubt, that all of you are doing it. All of you are in the process of spiritual evolution. And you may not feel like you're progressing very rapidly, but I can tell you we all are together. Focus your mind on that. Focus your mind on the good. Focus your mind on the shift. Focus your heart and your mind on the love that makes this revelation of light possible. That's the heart of healing, my friend. And I love you. Thank you.
You have been watching the message from our Sunday celebration service here at Unity on Cape Cod, providing a positive path for spiritual living. Please join us every Sunday morning at 10 a.m. at 147 Walton Ave, Hyannis, Mass. And visit us online at unityOnCapeCod.org. This video was made possible in part through a grant from Unity Worldwide Ministries and the Templeton Foundation.